Hi friends, cheers, happy New Year's. I hope you all are having a fabulous holiday season and I hope all of your dreams come true in 2024. I hope it's the best year yet. Without further ado, let's start today's video, which is 4 years post breast implants. I'm definitely dressed a little over the top for today's video, but I wanted to do a little bit of a New Year's festive look. So I'm wearing this super cute little frock and long sequin dress, which I will show you guys more of later in the video. But I just wanted to cheers and commemorate all that we've been through together, and also invite anyone who's watching for the first time to hit the subscribe button and follow and join our little family here on YouTube. We're gonna get into all of the nitty-gritty details of my breast augmentation journey. We're gonna get into all of the specs, I guess you could call them, behind the surgery, like how big I went, where I got them done, what all my decisions were. We're gonna talk about sensation, aesthetic. We're gonna talk about breast implant illness. We're gonna talk about everything in between. Mind you, this is also ginger beer. It's not even champagne. Kinda wish it was, but I'm having a dry January month and I'm starting my resolutions off right. So just having some ginger beer, y'all. So I had my breast augmentation in May of 2019. So it's almost been 5 years, to be honest. It's around the 4.5 year mark, which is crazy. Time flies by. I am a transsexual woman, if anyone was wondering and new here. So for me, it was part of my transition journey to have the breast augmentation. It was something that I felt I needed to feel more feminine in my body, as hormone pills really didn't render me much. I was very, very flat-chested beforehand, and so I just wanted some volume in that area in order to feel more confident in my daily life, and especially in certain situations, you know, like when you're wearing a bathing suit or going bra shopping or wearing certain dresses or tops. I felt like I was really tall at 5'9", and I wasn't able to have a very feminine frame. So for me, I just wanted something to help with my dysphoria. So I went to the Toronto Cosmetic Surgery Institute, which is based out of the Fairmont Royal York, right by Union Station in downtown Toronto. And the doctor that did my breast augmentation was Dr. Jugenberg or Jugenberg. I'm not sure exactly the pronunciation, but he's also known as Dr. Six. I know the Drake references. But basically I went to him because he had, you know, a very long reputation. He's done this surgery a bunch of different times. Lots of history, and he was board certified surgeon. And I didn't want to travel out of province to get this done. I just wanted to have it done locally because, I don't know, something about going under the knife in a foreign country. Even if I were to go to like Miami or something, I just want to be close to the people that I know and have the support that I need on a personal level. So for me, it was important to just get it done locally. The surgery was completed in under 30 minutes, which is absolutely wild to me. I'm sorry if you guys hear any scratching or any noises. It's just my dog Elio. He's like playing in the background. He's a little toy poodle, but whenever mommy's filming, he has to, you know, try to steal the spotlight or just distract me. He's like, give me all your attention, mommy. But whatever. So here's the FAQ that people commonly ask me. I'm gonna bullet through them quickly for you. So I often get asked, what cup size did you get? And the answer to that is you can't really ask for a cup size when you go in to get a breast augmentation because everyone's physiology is built differently. Your rib cage is going to be different from the next girl's, you know? So the cc's that you get in the implant, which is how they measure the volume of the implants, is going to look different on every body. For me, when I went for my consultation, they said to me not to go to bigger than 400 because then I could have some migration into the armpits and whatnot, and it would be like too much for my chest size, I guess. So I went 400. I was going to do 360. That was like the size that I personally wanted, but the consultant pushed for 400 and said that the number one issue that girls have is that they wish they would have gone bigger. And I was like, okay, the difference is like 40 cc's. So I'm just going to go with 400 then. I trust you. And I also went under the muscle. And the consultant, she also said that that is something that makes them look a little bit smaller than what you're seeing when you go for the consultation. So I was like, okay, I trust your opinion. And it turns out the size is perfect for me. I went 400 cc's under the muscle, and I also had an inframammary incision, and that incision basically is done in the fold under the breast. And I chose this one because breast implants are not forever. You're gonna have more surgeries down the road. You're supposed to replace them every 10 years, mind you. So it's important to make sure when you're choosing your surgical site that if you want to repeatedly use the same area, it's not something that could cause issues down the road. That's why I didn't want to do the nipple areolar incision because I was just kind of a little bit freaked out by cutting off my own nipples and like putting them back on. You know what I mean? Like, just like the idea, the vibe, all of that, not for me. I had to say no to that one. Although they can hide the scar better in the areola, I was just like, no, I would rather keep the sensation of my nipples. I will also say, under the fold is much more convenient for the surgeons, and it's easier for them to like get in and out. It's not like they're trying to squeeze through a super, super tight space, and they can just make it wider depending on how they need it. Um, as well, the consultant, I just want to put this out there and warn you girlies, they sometimes try to push add-ons to your surgeries to make a little bit more money, or they might be genuinely suggesting something. But what can happen in this process is you become more self-conscious and you start thinking, yeah, you're right, I do need that. I do need more than what I thought I did when I came into the office. And one of the things that the consultant tried to persuade me into getting was areolar reconstruction. She said that I had puffy nipples and that they could make them like silver dollar nipple. She didn't use that wording basically, but what she was implying was like those like silver dollar little tiny nipples. And I was like, no, I'm honestly fine. Like, I'd rather not cut my nipples off and then cut pieces of them off and then fling them into the bin. Like, I want to keep all the areola. Like, I'm happy and fine with mine. I don't want to like go above and beyond. And so I didn't do that. Another question people frequently ask me is, did you get saline or silicone? And I went with silicone. Here's why. So the saline implants are already encased in silicone. So no matter what, you're going to have a silicone foreign body in your system. The saline implants, they can be adjustable to firmness depending on how full they stuff them with water. What happens though is when you're getting the saline implants put in, they put them in empty and then they pump them up after the fact, and then they have to cap them off in order to reseal them. Whereas with the silicone implants, they're already pre-manufactured, sealed. There's no, capping situation. And I was told by someone else that I knew who had a breast augmentation. She said that you have a higher risk of getting leakage and getting moldy implants and getting more, issues on that spectrum of things when there's more transactional moments happening during the surgery. So for instance, capping it off, maybe there's going to be a leak when you have to cap it off manually, So I was just taking all of those things into account, and I was like, they do say silicone has a bit more of a natural texture because typically with saline, it's a little bit more firm. They really like pump it full of water. And I wasn't as afraid of a rupture because we've all seen those videos of silicone implants where people are like stepping on them with high heels and throwing them around and they seem like indestructible. So I settled with silicone. I was like, there's already gonna be silicone no matter what. The incision is slightly wider for silicone because you can't, just stuff an empty bag in there and then inflate it. So that's something to think about as well, but I really do not mind it. I think it's totally fine. I'll show you guys a little photo of what the incision line looks like. I hardly even notice. People hardly notice it. I don't care. And if you're gonna get surgery, you kind of have to accept the fact that you may have some scar lines. So that's just a part of life. Now for me, the surgical process happened in under 30 minutes, which was wild. I remember waking up afterwards and being like, oh my goodness, like, did the surgery even happen? And yes, it had. My implants were like stuffed up to the highest reaches of my chest. Heck, I'm going to take off this little throw faux fur thing and give you guys the full view because that's the point of this video. I'm a girl's girl and I'm just going to like show you guys the results and everything just from the get-go, Like I don't need to hide anything. We all want to see the results, So cute. Anyways, back to the story. So they were like pushed up like really high like that, right? And they looked crazy. My nipples were at the bottom. It was like, I don't know, torpedo boobs, I think is what they call them. And so I just was so taken aback when I went to look at them in the mirror. When I was in the hotel room, I was like, holy shit, I think I'm gonna faint. I think I'm gonna throw up. So I had to go lay down. Post-surgery for 2 weeks was the hardest part because you can't raise your elbows at all. Like they don't want you to like lift up because when you're doing under the muscle, your pectoral muscles will constrict. You'll end up with pain. You could get capsular contracture. You could have bottoming out. It's not going to heal properly. So you can't like raise your arms, So brushing your hair can be a little bit hard. You don't want to be doing anything extraneous or reaching for anything. So I kind of struggled, like, I couldn't even reach my microwave, so I had to ask for help with that and stuff. So just those 2 weeks was difficult, but the pain level was so manageable. Like, I hardly felt it at all. I went off my painkillers after the second day because I was like, I honestly don't even need them. Throw the oxys in the trash or give them to a cracky. No, I'm kidding. But anyways, so basically all of that was totally fine. You do want to make sure that you have assistance during that time though. People who can help you brush your hair or make you meals or just like pre-order your meals. I don't know. Whatever you can do so that you don't have to reach stuff is so helpful. So definitely recommend that. Now, do I overall like the results of the breast augmentation 4 years later? Yes, I do. I totally love them. I love my body. I think it's amazing. But what I will say, and I will be honest about, I'm the kind of girl, it takes me a long time to really adjust to physical changes in my body with any surgery. I've only had two. I've had the punani surgery and I've had the breast augmentation. But for both, it took a long time for me to adjust to my new body and to love myself regardless of the scars or the surgical changes. I don't know. That's the way I'm built mentally. I just need time to feel like myself again. And so I think that was something hard to get over at first. I wasn't used to having to have such like I don't want to say top heavy, but like having to work with like larger breasts when you're styling yourself is so different. You might feel like you look larger in general after the surgery because, the baggy clothes you were wearing before kind of tent around the augmentation and just make you look larger. So you have to kind of maybe find some more form-fitting things that show everything off a little bit more, which is a whole new fun adventure. But I would say that for, honestly, the first like year and a half, I was kind of questioning, like, did I make the right choice with my augmentation? Like, is this really something that I should have done? Did I need it? Was it necessary? Do I really feel more comfortable in my body? And the answer down the road is yes, because now I look back at old photos. Now I look back and reminisce and watch my old content and think about, okay, how did I feel in this moment? And I feel 10 times more comfortable, more beautiful, more desirable, just everything. And I know some of that sounds superficial, but let's be honest, this is a boob job. Like, even if you're a trans woman, like, there's a certain aspect of it that is a bit superficial. It's something that's like in pop culture. We're not gonna like pretend about it. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, yeah, superficially, I do feel a little bit better, not gonna lie. A big thing that people want to talk about because it's been in the headlines for like the past decade is breast implant illness. And that's something a lot of people were warning me about. A lot of people close to me too were saying like, oh, I'm so worried for you to get that surgery because so many people get breast implant illness, so many people blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you know what? Like, I have so much illness up here. A little breast implant illness isn't going to be much more. No, I'm kidding. But basically I was like, you know what? Like, I can always get them taken out. Like, I'll live. Like, I had reached a point in my transition and in my life where I was like, okay, the hormones are not giving. Like, I need to take. So I grabbed that silicone and shoved it up myself. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so I was careful to monitor for symptoms, right? Like fatigue, headaches, hair loss, joint pain. All of these things that people describe in relation to breast implant illness. I've had them for, let's see, like 4.5 years now, right? So I haven't noticed anything directly corresponding to that. The weirdest thing about them is that when you flex your pectoral muscles, they part like that. See? And that's the only thing that I would say is a little bit strange about them. But like, I haven't had, a drop in energy. I'm like currently training for a half marathon, trying to live my best life. I'm like, going on vacations, just living my best life. And I don't think that that has impacted my mental health at all. I don't even really think about the breast augmentation that much anymore. And I don't have symptoms of breast implant illness. So that's pretty much my consensus on breast implant illness. I feel very fortunate, but I will also say, like, breast augmentation is one of the most performed surgeries in the world. Hundreds of thousands of breast augmentations are performed every single year. And yes, there are going to be outliers that have negative results or negative effects, but by and large, the majority of people are fine. Think about how many decades people have been having boob jobs for. So I just think like it's important to think about things from a very like realistic perspective, weigh your pros and cons, think about like what you're willing to sacrifice, and also know that you also have options. You can be an explant. You can get them removed and get a lift. You can, you know, in the future. I sometimes think like maybe I would get rid of them in like 10 years or something. Like, I don't know, maybe I'd be tired of them. Who knows, you know, life changes. Maybe you don't want them anymore. And I'm always open to that. So it's always something on my mind that down the road, maybe it's just not for me, you know? But as for now, cheers to my D cup. Oh yeah, last FAQ was like, what is your cup size? I didn't ask for this cup size, but I am a D cup, and my measurements like typically are 32D. That's just like what God gave me with a little bit of silicone on top, you know? So I don't really know how that compares to, you know, biologically female women. Like perhaps you would have a smaller rib cage or not, who knows? I'm not sure. But 32D is where I'm sitting at, and I'm more than happy to have that. It's kind of like fun to like see the number and be like, that's my number, you know? I don't know, I find it kind of cute. It's like being sorted into your Hogwarts house or something. I'm like, I'm a 32D now. That's my club. That's my house, you know? I don't know. Now let's jump into tantalizing sensation. Obviously people want to know, like, am I going to be able to experience pleasure after the surgery in that area? The answer for me is a resounding yes, of course. I just had an incision done underneath the fold and didn't really affect the nerves of anything, really, if I'm being honest. So everything is like perky and out there and fully sensate, and no complaints. And I will say, from like a more intimacy perspective, there's just more fun to be had, if that makes sense, you know? Like there's more to grab, more to work with, and more to flaunt. So is what it is. I'm just like trying to convey to y'all that I'm happy and that I'm very content with the results of this surgery. 4.5 years down the road, cannot complain. And honestly, it was a very seamless, quick thing. I would say the torpedo aspect went away after maybe 3 to 4 months, and they started to really settle and look how they would for the final result. And that was crazy to me. There wasn't a lot of aftercare. Like you do some massages, like you massage them like this at the top to try to get them to go a little bit lower in the first few months and stuff like that. Always follow your surgeon's, you know, instructions. They're going to give you the best information that you need for your type of surgery. So always follow that to a T. Don't be lazy. And yeah, you get this like really ugly bra that you have to wear with a front clasp, so it's easier to put on and off. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like it's not a big deal. Like getting a boob job isn't a huge surgery. It might feel scary at first. It was my first surgery that I ever had. And I was, you know, I had those thoughts in my head where I'm thinking, this is like a superficial surgery. Like I'm going under anesthesia. Like, is this the right thing for me? I don't know. Like, and then you're on the operating table and they tell you to put your arms out like this, and the doctor's drawn on you with Sharpie, and you feel like a human meat stick, and you're like, oh my goodness, like you almost feel like you're betraying your own body in a way. And I feel like I almost got emotional beforehand. But then the morphine kicked in and everything was great. And I just passed right out. 30 minutes later, woke up, and I've been serving cunt ever since. I don't know. Life is a joke. Let's all just have fun and not take everything so seriously. If you do see a little square here, it's because I have a wireless mic pack in here, and I was trying to disguise it, but I feel like it's just making the whole top and everything look more awkward. But it is what it is. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope you got some educational information out of it. And remember not to take life too seriously. I for 2024, my resolution is to not give a fuck. Like, I just want to not give a fuck, you know? Live your truth, live your life. Who cares? Man, woman, they, them, transsexual, anything under the sun. Let's just live our lives and not give a fuck. Like, that's the era that I'm in. And I think we should all aspire to be that, because we're all our own worst enemy. We all have imposter syndrome from time to time. And I think as long as we keep that self-awareness, we can not give a fuck, because, you know, we're out here here to live our lives and not worry about every microtransaction. If you're interested in seeing more content from me, lifestyle, everything in between, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell notification button. I'm always doing live streams as well. I love interacting with you guys. I have Twitch down below. I also do a lot of Twitch streaming. I'm currently doing like Fortnite. I was doing Hogwarts Legacy. I'm gonna be doing maybe Cyberpunk. Like, the list goes on. I do it all. I do it all. I'll see you guys next time. And we're gonna have a fabulous fucking New Year's. We're gonna have a fabulous 2024. It's gonna be iconic, and we're gonna do it together. Bye.